I spend about 50 to 60% of my book budget on hiring a professional editor. That's how important I feel a professional editor is for a self-published author. Let's talk about edits and editors for a self-published author. Hi, I'm Pooja Mohan. I'm an indie author, aka a self-published author, working to self-publish my 7th book, and welcome to my writing studio. Let me preface this by saying that everything I talk about in these videos is based on my knowledge of the industry and my experience so far. There's a lot of information available on the internet, and I urge you to do your own research before you make a decision about what is right for you. Alright then, let's get into it. Before I get started, I wanted to ask you to leave any questions that you have about self-publishing in the comments below. I have received a few questions so far, and I thought I'll answer all these questions in a video. So if you'd like me to answer any of the questions that you have about self-publishing, or about writing, or even about productivity, you can leave a question below and I'll make sure to answer them to the best of my ability. In my previous videos, I've talked about how I feel about edits and editors and professional editing services. Hiring a professional editor is the biggest investment I make when it comes to self-publishing my books. It's roughly around 50 to 60% of the budget that I have for a book. As a self-published author, this is the one place you don't want to skimp. It's not only important that you hire a professional editor, but also that you hire a good professional editor, because you'll get what you pay for. And I say this with experience. When I first started self-publishing my books, I did not have enough information about how to go about hiring a professional editor, and I had absolutely no idea where I could find one. But over the last 4.5 years and 6 books later, I have learned quite a few things, and I thought I'll share with you what I've learned so far. Now, the publishing industry is changing rapidly, and so is the self-publishing market. And so as an author, there is a lot of options that are available to us. So I urge you to take whatever I talk about in this video with a grain of salt. Treat it as a starting point in your research for hiring a professional editor. There is so much to talk about when it comes to editing, so I thought I'll break it down into several videos. This is going to be a 5-part series, and I'll be talking about what is editing versus what is revising and rewriting, what are the different types of edit, why you need to know what each one is about, especially if you're planning to hire a professional editor, which I hope by the end of it I convince you enough that you do invest in hiring a professional editor. I'll also talk about how to self-edit, the resources that I use. I am starting self-edit one of my novels, and I thought I'll take you along with me as I self-edit that novel. So I'll be sharing that with you. I'll also share about how to hire a professional editor, what are the red flags to look for, and how to work with them. Let me know in the comments below if you, like me, are in the editing cave. The next video in this series, I'll be talking about the different types of edits, how do you know what type of edit you and your work needs, and why it is crucial that you know the difference, especially if you're planning to hire a professional editor. But before that video goes up, I want to talk to you about taxes when it comes to self-publishing. That will be the next video. So make sure your notification is turned on so that you know when the next video goes up. And if you're new here, hi, welcome to my writing studio. I talk about self-publishing, writing, and productivity, goal setting, and those kind of things. So if that is something that you're interested in, consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions regarding self-publishing or productivity or writing, leave me a comment below and I'll try to answer your questions to the best of my ability in a coming video. You can also DM me any questions you have on Instagram, and I'll try to include those as well. Alright then, I'll see you in the next one.